Well, hello, everybody. This is Joseph Land, and welcome to my show today. And we have a good group here on today, and it's going to be an exciting time together. This is April the 17th, 2023. Gosh, almost to the middle end of April coming along here. So time's flying, isn't it? Somebody told me something that the older you get, the faster time flies. I believe it now. So anyway, time is moving on, and let's make most of it today. So who wants to give a shout out today? Who's with me? Dawn, how about you?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. I'm just trying to regroup from my past experiences that I had with family members, and I'm getting ready to go on a vacation by myself for 5 days. I've never did that before. It's a big deal for me. A little slow on the uptake, but I'll get there.
Good.
I'm going to meet friends after that, but the first 5 days will be by myself. So I'm kind of setting up for that. And then after that, it's all work.
Good. Good. Well, we're so proud of you, and we want to keep you encouraged. Dawn, it's so important. It's so important to have a circle of people that you know are praying for you and encouraging you. And so Dawn, in the last several weeks, has lost her mother and her brother. And so we want to keep Dawn encouraged, and it's great to have you on today. And I'm glad you're taking a vacation. You deserve one.
Haven't been on one since before COVID, so I do deserve it.
That's great. Well, that's great. Anybody else want to say hello today? Tom Armour, how about you? You got to unmute yourself.
Hey, Joe. How are you today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Today I'm going to talk about you can't judge a book by looking at the cover.
Well, that's a good thing because I have a face for radio, so that's good by me. So
I'm going to turn my camera off so you can't judge me by looking at the cover.
there you go. I'm with you 110% on that one. So yeah, it's exciting. So I'm excited about today's topic, and I'm excited to be here. So I love starting my Mondays with all of these kind folks on the show here today. I just love starting my week right, getting things straight, and meeting with people that have the same faith and the same drives of the week, so we can get ourselves set right and go for the week together. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, that's great. That is great. Great to have you here, and thank the world of you, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to go to the sage down in Florida here, Tom Henderson. Tom, you got a good word for us today?
Oh, yes. Good morning, Joseph. Always. It's a beautiful time in Florida, and I'm just excited to have my daughter on here today, Michelle, joining us here from Florida. But it just been a good week. God has blessed my wife and I, and just a good time. Thank you, Joseph.
That's great. Well, Michelle, it's great to have you on. I knew who you were, and I didn't want to call you out to think I was picking on you, so I picked on Tom. But say a few words, Michelle, if you'd like to. It's wonderful to have you on with us today. You have to unmute yourself.
Just a blessing to be able to join in today, and to I know my dad Tom's been talking about this group for a while now. I think even on our vacation he hopped on, so just blessed to be here and see what we have. So I'm a small business owner. That's back office, so
that's great. I've heard a lot about your business. I'm very proud of you. And let me make sure everybody knows how I feel about this. Small business owners are the fabric of this whole economy in this country. And my goal is to encourage as many people to be successful small business owners as I can, because that's what made our country great to start with, right? And that's what made the world great. You know, people who have a dream, who visualize that dream, and God gives them the resources to make it happen. And Michelle, I'm so proud of you. I've heard so many great things about your business, and I'm proud of you for what you're doing. And I look forward to hearing many more great things.
Thank you.
Great. That's great. Say hello to all your family down there for me, you and Tom. Okay, let's see. Sean Lord, great to have you on today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Good. You're looking good, Sean. You got a new headset on there today.
Thanks. Yes. Yes. Oh, can you hear me well out of this?
Very well. Very well.
Awesome.
Very well. I'm sure proud of you, and glad to have you on the show today.
Yes. Thank you so much. A lot of stuff is happening.
Good. Good. Miles, how's everything going out in Hawaii?
Going really well. A lot of sales going through, a lot of help with helping people get their clean water. You know, I don't know how many people know about the forever chemicals. They call them PFAS, and they're everywhere, and they're really cancer causing and a lot of other challenges to the endocrine system, and they never break down. And it's something we take out with a whole house filter, along with so many other things, you know. So it's important to have good, clean, healthy water, and to be aware how our aquifers and our surface waters are so polluted today, to take care of your families with. So anyways,
It sure is. It sure is. Now, Miles, is this a system that fits on the whole house, or this the system that you have that fits on the faucet, or how does it work?
oh no, this is for the whole house. So for all your bath water, it's about a 5-foot tall cylinder, and it's made right there in South Carolina. And
You know it's got to be good then.
yeah,
You know
probably
it's got to be good.
about 12 inches around, 5-foot tall. So it does the whole house. So because when you're soaking in a bathtub, you really want to have clean water. Your skin will absorb toxins. So, you know, so it cleans up, not just the chlorine, you know, that's just the surface stuff. Some of these solid block charcoal filters just do the chlorine and make the water taste better. But this is taking out pharmaceuticals, VOCs, heavy metals, herbicides, pesticides. There's a lot in our water today that is not friendly to the cells of our body. So it's really good to clean it up and clean all of it up, so your shower and everything and your kitchen sink is all clean. Yeah, it's made in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're saying this to me, because over the weekend I was Jennifer and I were having a discussion with someone about the same topic, not about you know, what your thing does, but just water in general, how important it is to drink good water. And we really don't know, you know, what all is in our water today. And it was fascinating to hear this person talking. So here you are talking about it today. And so when God does me that way, it gets my attention. So I'm going to listen to what you have to say about it. You have a device that just helps the drinking water too? Is it the whole system?
We also have, using this, first we developed the technology to do it in just the drinking water. And then we've used those same medias to expand them into a cylinder that's good for 1 million gallons or 10 years. And then you can change the media. And the difference in this one company that I've represented since 2008 is they took the time and money to really prove it with a third-party lab, which is, I haven't seen anyone in the whole industry ever. They spout that they can clean up the water, but they never really prove it with a third-party lab, and this company has.
So is, you know how the refrigerator has a filter on it, and I'm sure it's not as powerful as we need. But you have that same filter that goes on the refrigerator?
Well, we can
For
clean it
drinking
up
water?
from the main, the refrigerator is only taking out a little bit of chlorine. It's taking
Right.
out your chlorine to make it taste better.
Right.
But we can clean it up from the main as well as clean it up at the kitchen sink that feeds the refrigerator.
Good. That's what I want to hear. Would you put all your information in the chat, and would you send me a private message about how my wife and I can purchase one from you? Because we were just having this conversation 2 days ago. So put your information in the chat, Miles, so people can contact you if they're interested in, clean drinking water and maybe buying this filter from you. I think it's really important.
Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you
Sure.
so much. And it's 6 a.m. in Hawaii where you are, right?
What was that? Oh, yeah, it's 6 a.m. and the sun's up earlier these days, as you can see behind me.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great to have you on today. Yes, sir, Doug. How you doing today?
Oh, good. Speaking of water, have you researched anything with reverse osmosis machines?
No,
I haven't.
You haven't?
the-
That's the way the military and aboard merchant ships get their drinking water from the sea. They basically force it through extremely fine membranes and filters, and they come out with just about pure water. And I know they're starting to use these in a lot of homes, smaller reverse osmosis machines. And I haven't done much research on them at home, but I know they work really well where I've worked.
Oh,
Very
good. Thank you.
The reverse osmosis produces an acidic water. Yes, it's very clean and it's good for when you do cleanses, but it also takes out the minerals. The wonderful thing about our system is that it keeps the good minerals, and yet it takes out all the toxins. The RO completely strips the water, and which reduces the oxygen content, makes it acidic. It has its value, but it's not something you really want to drink every day. And you cannot do a full whole house filter with reverse osmosis.
Oh, that's good to know. But I've been drinking it for years when I go to work, when I used to work.
It's better to have it clean like that than not,
Yeah.
but it is acidic.
A lot of sailboats use them too.
What was
Well,
that?
thank you. Thank
A
you,
lot of-
guys. Put your information, Miles, down in the chat for me.
Okay.
All right, good. Shane, how you doing today? Now, here's a lady who knows a lot about nutrition and all of these things. Shane, what do you think about clean water?
I'm obsessed about clean water, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to say and have to offer, Miles, because it's just sounds like it's exactly what's needed if you are concerned, and everybody should be concerned at this point about the water. Joseph, I just want to say, if I may, that having the opportunity to have you as my mentor has just been so remarkable, and also the love and support of you and Jennifer for me. My business is doing so well, and it's really flourishing, and I've got 7 new clients, and I just want people to know that if you ever have the opportunity to work with Joseph, just jump at the chance.
Oh, thank you. That was not a paid endorsement.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say welcome to Michelle too.
Thank you. Well, I love people and I love the Lord, and I want people to know what I had to learn the hard way. And so many of you bless me, and so I appreciate your kind remarks. One of my 8 is on here, Tracy. Tracy, I'd like Tracy to say a few words today. She's a person that I work with on a weekly basis. And so Tracy, welcome to the call today.
It's good to be back, everybody. I've missed you. We were gone for about 10 days, and then I it was good. It was good, but it's always good to be back too. It's nice to have your family back that you can talk to and share with. And it's nice to hear about the water system. Michelle, welcome. And it's nice for everybody. And Shane, is it Shane? Welcome to everybody. So yeah, it's just good to be back. So God bless everybody here today and thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. I love you and great to have you on the show today. I want to go back to the conversation that Miles was bringing up. And Shane, I want you to weigh in on this if you will, or, whatever you feel like. But this person that we were talking to over the weekend told us just what you said about our water table and some of the things in our water. And I don't take pharmaceuticals. I haven't had to yet. But there are a lot of people who do. And they were telling us that those pharmaceuticals get in our water supply and table. Is that correct? And so it's very important to, I guess, have a filter on your water system and this and that because of things like that. And then, of course, all the chemicals and stuff in our water to try to make our water palatable to drink, I guess. Is that correct, Miles?
Yes, that's correct. I think it's said that about 80 or 90% of the pharmaceuticals is eliminated. And so that's been going into our aquifers for years. So you could be taking somebody else's birth control in your water or heart medicine, so, and of course the herbicides, the pesticides, the volatile organic chemicals, they call them VOCs. And now there's real concern for these forever chemicals. They call them PFAS if you Google that. And they forever because they never break down. And heavy metals, it's something to be really definitely concerned about. They're endocrine disruptors. So they disrupt your endocrine system. That's your internal messaging. And it can really cause a lot of disruption, a lot of cancer causing. And of course, you just want to have clean water to keep your cells clean. You don't want to be polluting them at the same time. And taking a 10-minute hot shower is like you drank the water that day. So you want to clean it all up.
Good. Well, Miles, I'll see that you got your information down in the chat. And those of you who are interested need to go to the chat and take a look. I have copied that information while you were speaking. And so Jennifer and I are going to be calling you about this because we think it's very important. Heather, this is a wonderful lady up in Michigan. Heather, say hello to everybody today.
There we go. Hi, Joseph. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here again.
Good. Yeah. I've been missing you, but I've been talking to Heather about her business and what she's doing. And she's quite the entrepreneur, and I'm very proud of you, Heather, and great to have you on today.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. I was on not last week, but the week before, because I was out at a retreat that was doing professional photographs for all the aspects of my business. And I'm looking forward to being able to start moving more forward with it too. So it's great to be. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. I want to have a little fun with you now since you're such a professional photographer. Do you have a lens that'll make me look skinny?
No, but I know that they have them out there, Joseph.
Well, if you'll develop something like that, we can get rich.
They have mirrors in clothing stores that make you look thinner than you are. Yeah.
I know.
So
I know. I'm going to tell you a funny story. There's this mirror that Jennifer and I pass by frequently in a place that we go to, and it just makes you look terrible. I look at myself in that mirror, I'm thinking, oh my God. And she says, don't pay attention, that's that bad mirror. And We walk on and all of a sudden I'm skinny again, or thinner again, not skinny. I'll never be skinny. But anyway, isn't it amazing, some of those mirrors that do that? So I know, Karen, I know, Heather, I know you got that lens for me, so you need to get on the ball, send it down here.
Okay.
All right, good. Just having a little fun with you today. David, how you doing today? David?
Hey, great. I'm David. Okay. Hey, quick good report. Got an adopted sister, niece, and a nephew, and he's a preacher, and couldn't have children. They have adopted 4 children. 3 of them are brothers. The youngest turned 16 last week, and he's in a wheelchair with a multiple dystrophy. Okay. So he came to Mobile, Alabama birthday party, and is a real generous businessman over there, like you are, Joseph. And he had a car show with probably 100 and something cars worth over 5 million. They did an auction and a raffle, and they let little Blake dress up like Burt Reynolds in the that movie. Anyway, he just had a blast, and they raffled off TV and gave all the money to Blake. So it was a great blessing to have a good time with them. And on our business things, we're project we have another one started last fall, and our season is finally moving along with us. Just those employers still working. It's just taking a little bit longer than we thought. It's not our fault. Sometimes it's the IRS taking longer. So still working well. We're blessed there, and just blessed in many ways, especially to be on here with you on Mondays. Look forward to it. So thank you, Joseph.
Thank you. You're breaking up just a little bit, but it's good to hear from you. And what a great tribute to that young man. That was really special. Karen, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm really good. I'm really good. Thank you. So funny. I was just on a Zoom call with someone last night talking about how pharmaceuticals just get released from everyone into the water. And so it's, there's no coincidence. So I just think that's interesting. So Miles, I'll probably be contacting you and just seeing what you've got going. And I just got back from a beautiful, I call them God walks. I got back from a beautiful God walk in the park. It is the perfect day today, a little chilly, but very, very beautiful. And so I'm glad to be on with all these people, like-minded people. It feels really good.
Great. Well, good. It's great to have you here. And we always love to hear your comments, and great to have you today. How about you, Dave, over in Georgia, my main man in Georgia? How you doing since your carpal tunnel syndrome surgery? Is that it?
Yes, much better. Thanks. Little update on the business home for mine and my son's business. I think I told you that we were going to buy one that we were leasing, but they lost it because someone else came up with the down payment. So we've been searching about 2.5 months and found something we believe we're pretty excited about. Just happens to be a boiler room to a mill that was built in the 1920s. Wow. So it's really cool to look at. Has a lot of history, and it was built. J&J built it after World War I. So there's going to be a few months renovations to get it ready to even be used, but we're real excited because it's definitely a something to look at, conversation piece, as well as a warehouse for us. So we're excited.
Great, congratulations. That's a direct answer to prayer right there.
Absolutely.
And you and I've been talking about that, and I'm going to tell every one of you right now, and I've experienced it, and you just heard it. When one door closes, God's going to open another door for you, and it's going to be better. And that's exactly what you just described. This place is going to be phenomenal for your business.
Absolutely.
And while your heart was set on maybe doing this one, God had another plan. It's like my heart was set on playing baseball, but God had another plan for me. And that's just the way it works, So, man, that gets me fired up. I'm really happy. And thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Send us some pictures so we can share them around. That's a great answer.
We'll do. Once we move in, we'll do. Right now, it's pretty rough.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Good. Well, we got Bobby Bentz on. He looks like he's right in the middle of trading. Bobby, can you just say hi to everybody?
Hello. How you doing?
How's the market today?
This week's gonna be crazy. There's a lot of earnings reports coming out and stuff like that. So I've just got to be on it.
Yeah.
So keep my hand on the
Put
trigger.
yourself on mute and go back to it, boy.
All right, y'all have a blessed day. I am listening.
Okay. All right, great. It's great to have you on today. Anybody else have a word for us today? Anybody else have a good word for us? Well, I want to talk to you about like in preparation for this week. Today is Monday, and we always do the show on Monday. Does the show really help you prepare for the rest of your week, or help you get through the rest of your week and get your kind of your mindset right and that kind of thing? Can anybody say yes or no, or yeah? It does me too. It does me too. And so I really think the Lord gave me this to give everybody today because it's so important in the world that we live in. I was, you don't have to look at the news to hear the news in the society we live in, because it's on your phone, it's everywhere, right? And if you're on social media, it's there. And I try not to pay attention to it. I just kind of pray that, God's will be done, and that He provide the right people in the places of leadership to lead, our nation and other nations, to where they're supposed to be. And I think some great things are happening. I think I think sometimes in life you have to get to the point of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, And me, I'm not a person who likes to, go with things when I know in my heart they're wrong. And so I think it's so important for us today to exemplify what it is we want people to follow. It really is. And your example is so important. And so I want to talk to you about the book that people see in you. The book that people see in you. And the first thing I want you to make notes about is, you cannot judge a book by looking at the cover. And this is so true. I saw this beautiful book in a gift shop. Jennifer and I were in a gift shop. I saw this beautiful book, beautiful cover, had gardens on the outside. It was just a phenomenal cover. And then I opened it up and there was nothing written on the pages. Nothing. And it was kind of a joke, you give somebody a book with nothing written in it. And first thing I thought was, heck, I could have written this book. And then the second thing I thought, well, hey, you got me. And then the third thing I thought about is, gosh, you cannot judge a book by the cover. The cover was beautiful, but it was nothing to it, right? And so that's the first thing. And then in life, and especially the way we're living now with social media, second thing is that we're all a book. We're all a book that people can read anytime. We are. And people can read your book by how you act, how you treat them, how you react to situations, all the different things are how people read your book. And then when I started thinking about this over the last several days, the third thing I said, to myself was, what story in my book am I conveying to people? What do people see when they see you? What story? What story do you exude? Do you exude a story of timidity? Are you afraid to be who you are? Are you timid to be really who God's called you to be? What story are you conveying? Are you bold like a lion or a lioness to describe with compassion and with humility your views on things and how you perceive things, your faith, for instance? All these things are very important in our society when you see what's happening and how far our society has slidden the other way. Now, let me tell you, I was listening has anybody listened to this series on TV, watch this series on TV called The Chosen? Anybody? Okay, anybody watch that? So Jennifer and I have been watching that and we really, really enjoy it. And I heard this actor that portrays Jesus in the film, and he said that society's slidden so far one way that it was his duty to portray Jesus not only in the movie but in his life.
Wow.
How people see him, he wants them to see the goodness of our God. And I thought, wow, that's the story that he's conveying to all of us. And what a great story. And then I started thinking about, well, what story am I giving to people, right? And I think it's so important in a business or in your personal life. What do people see in you? What do you do that draws people to you or your business, right? In a positive way. And then the fourth thing is, you've heard me say this a number of times, talk is cheap, but are you the living example of what you're talking about, right? Or are you living that example of what you're talking about? I'm not ashamed to tell you that, I was a mess until the Holy Spirit came over me and filled me and changed me and gave me an opportunity to be the person that God's really called me to be. And so in today's world, I come in contact with people and I hope they can see that change. We serve a God of forgiveness and a God that doesn't give up on people and a God that can give you a chance for reconciliation and restoration, right? And so if he can do that for me, or he can do that for you, then we can certainly be compassionate and loving to people who need to find that same thing in the way they see us. Does that make sense to you guys? And so I was thinking about this over the weekend. It was so important to me because there's so many people that are passing on, and I want to make sure they know what I know, right? So it's just very important. Our example is so important, and especially in today's time. And then let's see. Then the fifth thing that I want to share with you is people are looking for examples of truth in our society today. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
There's so much there's just so much false things that are going on to separate people, right? And all of you probably saw the controversy going on with Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Well, I wish them well, but I don't drink beer, and whoever does, that's good. I'm glad you do, and if you enjoy it, you should. But I saw that whole saga going on with that, and I saw the CEOs come on and try to save the situation instead of just being a company that starts out saying, "Hey, man, we're gonna stand for the right thing. We're gonna stand for God in our life. We're gonna promote beer, and we're not gonna get involved in all that stuff." But when some of these companies try to take a position to influence me in a way that I don't want myself or my children, affected, then I'm going to take a positive stance to not buy their product. It's just simple as that. And so companies get themselves in this problem by not being a living example of truth that our society needs for today. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not beating them up. I'm not beating any companies up. But you know something, when my transportation company didn't do the job, when it wasn't a representative on the highway of what my customers wanted, they would quit doing business with me. And so, what happens with the company that doesn't that isn't an example of truth for our society, well, they suffer the consequences. And you're going to see that more and more in our society as the people who are filled with God's Spirit say, you know, enough is enough. You know, we're not going with that. We're going to go for truth. We're going to go for goodness. We're going to go for the right thing. And you know, we're not going to be snookered anymore. We're not going to be as they think we are, sheep led astray, you know, believe in anything. And so it's time for people in America and all over the world. Actually, I have friends all over the world, Canada and all over the world, to take a stand for what's right. And you're starting to see people do that, right? So people, going to my fifth point, people are looking for examples of truth today in our society. Now, let me give you the example of Anheuser-Busch, which is a great company. I'm not going to knock them. They made a terrible mistake in their strategy. Let me give you another example of a great company, Chick-fil-A. Let's talk about Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, anybody know Chick-fil-A? Sure, you know, it's a huge company. Well, they took a beating for not being open on Sunday, right? But hey, you know what? That was their conviction. They weren't open on Sunday, and that was great. There's a men's store in Charleston that's not open on Sunday. They do more business Monday through Saturday than anybody in town. You know why? People respect their truth. People respect their truth. Their truth is, we're not going to be open on Sunday. And you know what? I know that, and I respect that. So we're getting, I tell you, people are starting to stand up for what they believe in, and times are going to be more and more exciting in the future. Don't buy into the, things are terrible and things are going to get worse and worse. What I'm buying into is God is able. And Tracy and I have a saying, when people start describing to us all these, oh, whoa, the world is ending, we say, but God. Dave had a property he wanted to have, and he couldn't get it, but God provided one better, right? Chick-fil-A, people were saying, oh, they're a terrible company, but God intervened because of their faithfulness, and they did more sales in the last year than they'd ever done in their company history. You know, I mean, hey, you can mock someone's stance for truth, but God will come to their rescue every time. All right. And so people are looking for examples of truth today in our society. And so my question is, what do they see in you and me? What do they see in us? You know? And that's a very important question for us to ask ourselves. And when you're doing your self-examination, like I do every day, I wake up today and I say, first thing I say out of the chute is, Lord, I praise you for the day. Lord, I'm so thankful for my blessings, food on my table, roof over my head. I'm so thankful for my wife and children. Lord, I'm grateful to be alive in this time in history. I'm grateful to be alive. Hey, why can't I make a difference in this time in history? You created me to be here, right? And then the last thing is, I just trust you with my day. I just trust you today. I'm not assured of tomorrow, but I'm going to trust you today. And boy, what a great way to live. And so people are looking in our society for those of us who are going to be an example of truth. Just remember that. And, you know, people talk about the evil of the day and, oh gosh, how bad things are and this and that. Well, I want you to write this down. The same rising tide of evil that makes cowards run and hide and not witness and tell the truth and be bold about their faith is also the same thing that makes champions rise up and do the right thing. The same rising tide of evil that makes cowards run also makes champions rise. And every one of you guys are champions. And, you know, I believe that God is calling on us to make a difference on this show. You know, I give my life every week to this show because I want to encourage you and help you be successful and help you become all that you want to be in your life and create that dream that God has instilled in your heart. You know, people are going to tell you, no, you can't do it. I'm going to tell you, yes, you can, right? Because that no in your ear is just what society knows how to say to you. Oh man, don't start that trucking business. You're going to go broke. That's what people say. Hey man, I'm already broke. I'm so broke I can't pay attention. I got to do something. I'm living in a 1-room trailer at a campground and taking my little bag lunch to work. I got a dream. 7 years later, see, the company never starts at 200 million. It starts at nothing with a dream. And so what do? You take your little bag lunch to work every day and you work as hard as you can, and you work like it all depends on you, and you pray like it all depends on God. And so what happened? God blessed it. He blessed that humble beginning. He blessed it. And all those people who were saying, oh, you're never going to be successful. Oh, why don't you just get a job like us? Why don't you get a job with the bank? I said, no, I want to own a bank one day. You gotta have that swagger, man. You can be broke, but you still got swagger, right? And so I just said, I'm going to build my company. 7 years later, they're all wanted to be a part of my company. To the person. There was a lady who started with me, my first employee, and her name was Linda, and she just loved me, and she just helped me and encouraged me. She was a wonderful lady. She was like me, a little bit overweight, and nobody ever told her she was special. And I tell her every day she was special. And I said, Linda, you stick with me like glue, because God's going to do something special in this business, and you won't ever have to worry again. 1994, when I sold my company, she became a millionaire. Hear that? Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. And the problem with today's society is everybody wants to start on top. And I've never been in the business that worked that way. I always had to start on the bottom and work my way to the top. And so that's why I like some of these direct sales companies and stuff. And I encourage people to get on them, because where can you go and invest a little bit of money and make a couple $1,000s a month? How much money would you have to put in the bank today in a CD to make $2,000 a month in interest? A lot more than we have. A couple million, $1 million, I guess. What's the interest rate today? 2%? So what I'm telling you is you gotta, in these times, you gotta think outside the box. And I tell people the most important thing you can have is a business that employs people and gives people the kind of environment they deserve to work in, and a company that produces income to you. Let's just say you had a job. Let's just say you had a job and you were doing quite well, but it wasn't well enough. You wanted to do better than quite well. And so you and your wife had a job, and she would go to work, you'd go to work, you get the kids to school, you come home from work, and you take one to piano practice and one to soccer. And then what happens? You come home from that and you fix dinner and you get the kids bathed and do their homework and get them in bed. And then I'm telling my story. And then you and your wife fall into bed and say, oh gosh, I'm exhausted. We get to do this all over again tomorrow. Isn't that the truth? I mean, think about that. And so I'm thinking, what would a business that makes a couple $1,000s do for a family like that? It changes everything, right? It just changes everything. And so I encourage people to be involved in businesses that create income. What is the best investment you can make, Joseph Land? I would say to invest yourself in a business that produces income other than what you're already making. Does that make sense to you guys? This means yes. All right, good. So does this make sense to you guys today, what I'm talking about not judging a book by its cover, and being the book that people can read by your actions and how you conduct your life, that that inspires them to be better in what they're trying to do, and living an example in your life for what Christ has done for you and for me. See, that's what I want to be about. And so when they talk about the rising tide of evil in our society, hey man, I'm not running from that. I'm going to stand up to it and say, hey, there's a better way. There's a better way. You know what? If you were mistreated when in your life, hey, there's no future in the past. Hey, God fixes all that, right? And so I don't know many families who don't have issues. We certainly have had issues in our family, but you know what? We've given those to God and asked Him to help us fix them. And that's what our society needs to be doing today. And boy, that's the way we need to pray. We need to pray for a revival in the land, right? That's what we need to do. So anybody have any comments about today's little lesson?
Yes,
Anybody have?
I do.
Okay.
Regarding the truth aspect, well, all of it was amazing. And the truth aspect, I just immediately applied it to myself, like being true to myself and what are my strengths. And it's funny because I just realized my biggest strength is my mind. I was blessed with this really amazing mind, right? And I love to muse and contemplate and put things together and offer that to people. And I haven't been like leveraging that. And now I'm in this position to kind of organize that, use the tools that I already have to organize the strength. And I have no idea what it's going to be, but that aspect of truth, it really sets the foundation. So thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome, Sean. And when I read your book, and I've been reading your book for a couple of a month now, since we were both introduced, I see that in you. I see a sharp young man when I read your book, the way you live your life, you're kind, you're gracious, you're giving, you're thankful. That's what I see when I read your book. You're an amazing young man, and you're blessing people by the way you live your life.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lamb.
You're welcome. You're a blessing. Anybody else today? Tracy?
I just like to share something, just to encourage everyone. Being somebody that's been in business and done multiple things too, and direct sales and different things all my life, there's nothing like being your own business person. You know that you have, with God's help, you have the control of your own business, rather than, and nothing against, because I've also worked for other people, but there's just God gives you a whole different aspect of being your own person and your own business person. So I just felt I need to encourage each and every one of you that, because it's fun. It's fun doing your own business and making some extra money. And so I encourage you that.
That's great. Thank you, Tracy. You see, talking about what book, what do people see when they read your book? Right? And that's just an analogy. But I remember when I sold my company and I got started in the real estate business, and we lost our shirt in 2008 and 9. I mean, we did. And I'll tell you a funny story. People would want to invest with me, and I said, I'll tell you how to be a millionaire in 2008 and 9. Give me 2 million and I'll turn it into 1 million. That's how bad things were. And so my daughter, youngest daughter, looked at me and said, Dad, you've run all these big companies. Why don't you just be the CEO of somebody else's company? And I looked at her, and this is what you're saying, Tracy. I looked at her and I said, honey, I'm unemployable. I know too much. I would never, that nobody would hire me, right? And so I'm just kind of been a rapid serial entrepreneur, and that's where I thrive. And the reason I do this show is to encourage you. There can be one person that comes on this show that has a dream, a desire in their heart, could be the next General Electric, right? That's how God works. And so when other people doubt and you have that vision and dream in your heart, you get with somebody who can help you, encourage you, and create that vision. and go for it. And that's exactly what I've done 3 times now. And I'll tell you what I'm doing right now will be bigger than the other 2 combined. So that's the way I think, and that's always the way I think, and I'll never back off on that. So anybody else have any comments today? Karen? You're unmuted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll
Okay.
mute.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments today?
Yeah, I think opportunity is just everywhere. Somehow or another, night before last, we stumbled onto, my wife and I, we watch a lot of biographies and history stuff and everything. We stumbled on the woman who created Barney. She had a 2-year-old son, couldn't find anything on TV worth watching that she felt that was good for her son. So she created Barney, and just how that just exploded out of a little thing for her son into a worldwide phenomenon. And then the downside is that was the hatred that people talk about, good and evil. Barney was all good and had no flaws and everything else. And being Easter time and everything, I thought it was really neat how people started up these societies, hate Barney and everything, and they would actually attack people over this and college and stuff. And then I think about, you know, with the Easter and Jesus and everything was good and how they crucified him. It's just amazing how some evil is at work out there, and we just need to be aware of it.
Yes. That as champions, we need to rise up
and
fight the good fight. You know, I'll give y'all, Jennifer and I have been watching this series. It's phenomenal. It's on PureFlix. It's like a Christian network, PureFlix. And it's 1 season, and we're right in the middle of it. It's called 1,000 Tomorrows. It has such a good plot and so wholesome and so good. I think you would all love it. And I'd like to hear your feedback on that, about 1,000 Tomorrows. And we have really enjoyed that. So anyway, it's great to have you guys on the show today. Any other questions or comments for me?
May I? I just have to say, every week I've been here, Joseph, you guys have been a huge inspiration for me. That question that you asked, does it make a difference in our lives and how our week goes? Most definitely 100%. And for me, and also I know that you have encouraged the Portners, and what they're doing on Thursdays has really been super helpful. I know Sean's been there, and I must say too, Sean, you are an incredible human being, and I'm so glad I know you through this, through COL, and I look forward to meeting you. And Karen, you too, and I know that Tracy's been there as well. This is just, it's wonderful. I can't thank you enough for being involved in everything that you are. Mr. Land, appreciate you so very much. Everybody here, everybody, Tom, Miles, Dave, Doug, you know, I don't see Zoom user who's had the carpal tunnel project, your name, and Mr. Armour as well. Everybody, and I hope, Velma, you're doing great. Dawn, I love you. I know you know that. It's so nice to be here week after week, and thank you so much for inviting me, Dawn, like you did back in December. It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful blessing.
Well, thank you. It's great having everybody on the show today. I'm going to stop the recording, but I want y'all to stay with me just one more minute.